So this is the Claw Lab Tufting Frame H1 and the gun for it. I'm going to put everything together. I've got it set out of the box and we'll get started. All right, I've got everything set up here. I'm watching Caitlin and Evan do it with a slightly different kit. Theirs came with scissors. Mine doesn't have the scissors, but everything else looks mostly the same. So yeah, now I gotta get the fabric stretch on there and then try to be creative for the first time in my life and actually succeed. Now I've got it set up and it wasn't entirely intuitive, but I do need to kind of redo it because it is super baggy right here. It's taut up here, but it's loose down there. And I'll show you back here. It's just because I didn't get the fabric all the way through. So gonna redo that real fast and then we'll start doing it. All right, got the gun loaded up, the yarn tufting gun. I'm trying to figure out a good way to hold this. I don't like that yarn touching me. Since this is where all the fabric comes from, I'm just going to come down here and practice a little. And there is a speed control back here. It said something about an LED. Let me consult the manual real fast. Okay, good to know. There's a power switch down by the USB port. There we go. Okay, let me set the manual back down. And I said we were going to go to this corner. So I'm just going to try to do a little square down here. We're going to try to keep it 90 degrees. If I do more of this, I'm definitely going to need to get a chair. So something there is not working correctly. Let's diagnose and figure it out. So I'm going to try this again. We're just going to move over a little. That actually cut the fabric. Maybe I wasn't far enough in. I'm not sure. No, same kind of deal. All right, so I've consulted Caitlin and Evan's video, and they start with it pushed in. I don't know. So now it's too slow. Let me adjust it a little. I think we had it going too fast. Let's try again here. Well, still, I don't know, guys. This is a little weird. Yeah, you can still see me. Let me try putting it closer to back to where it was. And there I hit the table. That's not good. I don't think rug making is in my future. I'm not so sure about this. Now I can't get my big bear paws in there to grab this. There we go. And I've got it at a 90-degree angle. Well, time to find a new job, guys. So my wife just made me look like a complete idiot. She just walks up and does it. Yeah. So let's try again here. Oh, I didn't have any thread in there that time. Or yarn. Let me reset the yarn and we'll be right back. All right. My wife told me I'm an idiot. So let's try this one more time. Oh, jeez. So you can go up. I can't go right. Let me consult that. But I finally kind of got, but it's still, hers looks way better. So, yeah, I'm gonna let her practice a little more off camera because she's camera shy. And maybe we'll have her try to do something. While my wife is reloading with a different color, I wanted to show you kind of what we've done. We're figuring it out. She's just did this and, you know, pretty good. I mean, it's not, but it's a lot better than anything I did. And we're figuring it out. But this is a very expensive hobby because this fabric is not cheap. Even from them, it's like $70 for a roll. On Amazon, it's about $10 for 40 inches by 40 inches. So there's a pretty big learning curve here, and it's going to be a little bit costly. It is what it is, I guess. So here we go. You insert and you keep firm pressure. You keep it at a 90-degree angle. And if you're not an idiot like me, it actually works pretty decent. I will say it's extremely messy though, and the rug looks even worse, but so my sister-in-law and the Nibblings came over And you can see here, they've really figured it out. They've started doing it with 2 fibers. So it's looking a lot better. I'm going to try here with some tips from them. But yeah, we did 2 yarn fibers in here and it should work better. Of course, I'm going to screw this up though, but oh, let me. I found sometimes it just wants to shut off. So you just turn the power off and back on and it kind of resets it. So we'll come back down here. And mine still looks terrible. That would be up. See, I messed it up. But you get the idea. All right, I've been chastised off camera that I'm still not pressing hard enough. Well, it still looks like but. And I'm having a hard time where I'm overlapping on my stuff there, but you kind of get the idea. Let me show you the other side. So maybe this isn't the craft for me, but they're definitely figuring it out. We're just going crazy practicing now. You know, this is kind of where we started, my mess ups, and then we got this. But now it's looking like some shag carpet I had in a house about 20 years ago. That was probably the filthiest carpet in the record of Earth because you couldn't vacuum it and we didn't have one of those weird shag contraptions for cleaning it. So we just kind of put area rugs over it. But yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. So I'm gonna let them play with it some more since they seem to have figured it out. And maybe we'll have something somewhat presentable when we're done. Here's kind of what we ended up with. It does feel like a carpet. They started to figure it out. You know, it was working much better if you put 2 strands of yarn in. If you tried 3, it would jam with the yarn that came with it anyway. But 2 was working really nicely. The only problem is this is really messy. Like this stuff gets everywhere. Obviously, it doesn't come with the glue kit or anything to fasten it to the back. So as soon as you pick this up, it's going to be an issue. Also, they did not give enough fabric to do it twice. They said about 7 centimeters or whatever to go through the tensioner. We did more than that because it's not evenly cut. Whoever cut it was, I don't know, having a day or something. So it's kind of jagged like the salvage on fabric when you go to buy fabric. And because of that, we had to put more through. So there's not enough to do it a second time because you can't actually stretch it. So keep that in mind. You're going to get realistically 1 attempt at this when you buy it. Now, the fabric from them is like $70 or something. You can get it cheaper on Amazon. I don't know if the quality will be the same, but that's one thing. Another downside is if you mess up like I was, it cuts the fabric. So if you mess up on a project, you got to start over. There's no, like if you mess up in that way, you're just done because there's going to be a cut in the fabric and you're going to have a bare spot. That said, my nieces, 2 of my nieces came over and my sister-in-law to get most of this done. You know, where I messed up down here, you saw, but they came in and did a bunch of this off camera. My wife did that as her like 3rd attempt and it came out pretty good. But the nieces and my sister-in-law figured this out and they really, really enjoyed it. And they were talking about it and like, oh, we're going to get some more. Can we borrow it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Whatever. And my wife's really excited to try it again. So this isn't the hobby for me. I would like to try to make a craftsman, steady craft, and like his little puppet. I would love to try to do that, but I think I'm gonna have to try it like 30 times and that becomes a really, really expensive video. So if you have patience, if you're already good with stuff like this, maybe consider picking one of these up. It was kind of fun. Once I did do it right, I did 1 or 2 of these lines right myself, but even then I kind of messed it up. You really got to get in there with that gun and just hold it there and keep it at a 90-degree angle. And I'm a little more chaotic than that, so maybe not for me. That said, it's a fun time. So if someone wants to try it, this is definitely a nice little kit because you do get that stretcher. That way you don't have to make your own out of like tack board or the stuff you tack carpet down with, and you don't have to make that yourself, and you can get really nice tension and everything. And the gun, the only issue is when it would decide it was jammed, you would have to turn it off and then back on. The USB-C plug does go into a really deep well, so it's kind of frustrating to plug in sometimes. I think the first time it took me 15 tries. After that, it took a try or 2. My wife also struggled with it. But once it's plugged in, I would just probably leave it plugged in. And yeah, that's pretty much it.